welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I have to distract myself from the Ryder Cup. So the best way to do that is to immerse myself in a Sudoku puzzle, and today we have got a puzzle called Funhouse by the great zetamath to have a go at. This has been recommended to us a lot of times over the last few days, and I've just loaded it up. The rule set's really short, and there is something magical to me about Sudoku puzzles that are completely symmetrical, and you can see this one is. You know, if you folded, if we were to draw a line down the center of the grid like this and fold it over, everything maps. It's really beautiful. Obviously the line colours are different, but it's perfectly reflected. It's just well, these setters, they never cease to amaze me. And I think, I'm not sure, I'm very bad at interpreting drawings generally, but is this a reference to that horror film? It wasn't a horror film called Funhouse, which had a very unpleasant looking clown in the title, and are these lines depicting some sort of face that's a bit like that clown? I'm not sure, but I like to think that might be what's going on. It's very, very zetamath, I think, has outdone himself. And zetamath's puzzles are always a great treat. So we're going to have a go at this in a moment or two's time, and I'll read you the rules in a few seconds. There's some things I want to mention first. I'm going to say today is the 1st of October, and that means it's Patreon reward day over on Patreon at 4 p.m. UK time this afternoon. We are releasing, or we will have released by the time this video goes live, a brand new Sudoku hunt from the Skunkworks. It's called Trick or Treat, so it's obviously got a Halloween theme. This is sort of the flyer for it, but this does literally so little justice to what the Skunkworks have created. It's a 25-page document. Most of the pages have got beautiful 6x6 puzzles on, each of which has a sort of Halloween theme. It's just beautiful. It is beautiful. The puzzles are great. The innovation is great. Yeah, so I just want to say a huge thank you actually to the Skunkworks for making this for us. It's really great. I've already said it's really great. It is really great. So I recommend, if you're a patron of the channel, do get yourselves over there. Start working your way through it. I think you only have to do the first 9 puzzles to qualify and be in with a chance of winning the competition. But if you want to get your name on the Roll of Honour, you have to solve a few more puzzles. And speaking of Rolls of Honour, the Roll of Honour for last month's monthly reward for September, which was Lines and Shapes, that will appear at the end of this video. So if you want to know whether you got everything right, do check out the Roll of Honour. That should appear at the end of this one. And if you want to become a patron, it's a couple of bucks a month, and I'll put a link on the screen now. Now, what else did I need to tell you about? Yes, I've remembered. Line Sudoku. It's out. It's out on Android. It's out on Apple. It may be out on Steam as well. So this is our brand new sort of Sudoku app. It's been a long time in the making. Features puzzles by some of the great and the good. I mean, this is just a screenshot from the app, and you can see the names down this right-hand side. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. Lots and lots of you, I know, have already been enjoying it. So the way to get it is you download the free Cracking the Cryptic app, which is on the App Store, etc. And then if you go to additional content, you'll find the Line Sudoku pack available right now. So that's very cool. Other than that, I've got some birthdays to do today. I'm going to start off by saying happy birthday to one of our youngest viewers, Caden. Caden, you've turned 5 today, and I know this because your dad Joshua wrote to us. I'm not sure, I haven't been told whether you're getting chocolate cake today, Caden, but I hope very much that you have a brilliant birthday, and thank you so much for watching us. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant when we hear that children, you know, we even hear about younger kids watching and appreciating some of the logic that appears in these puzzles. It's fantastic. I also need to say a very happy birthday to Chase. Chase, your wife Cheryl, I should say Cheryl, it could be Cheryl, but it's not, it's Cheryl. wrote to us. And Chase, I obviously hope you have a brilliant birthday, but I do need to pause there and tell you all that Chase and Cheryl are getting married in November, and they invited Mark and me to the wedding. I would love to attend. I wish I could go. The wedding is in Las Vegas, which is, I absolutely adore Las Vegas. I know I sort of feel like I shouldn't when I say that, but I have to be honest, I just do. It's the most magnificent city. I couldn't spend very long there, but to go there for a few days at a time, I wish I could accept, and thank you so much for inviting me. But it's not going to be practical. But I hope you obviously have I know you're going to have an absolutely amazing time. The wedding invitation is amazing as well. It's sort of electronic, and it's got all these things that you can do in the days in and around the wedding. And there was like a chocolate factory visit. I mean, oh, good grief. Good grief. Now I've got two other recommendations though, but to Chase and to Cheryl. First is I know you're staying at Caesar's Palace. I think Absinthe. Absinthe. I've seen it twice in Las Vegas. I think both times were at Caesar's Palace. It is the most fantastic show I've ever seen. So I recommend that, and also, of course, the Pinball Museum. I mean, that should really have been on your wedding invitation, to be honest, but no, never mind. Yeah, Pinball Museum, somewhere you can spend a long time. Anyway, that's enough. Chase, happy birthday. Let's have a look at Funhouse by Zetamath, and I will read you the rules. They are as follows. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we need to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Adjacent digits along a green line must differ by at least 5. So let's look at this green line. If this was a 1, what would that mean? If this was a 1, this would have to be at least a 6, because it needs to be at least 5 different from 1 here. It can't actually be a 6 for technical reasons. If this was 6, this digit would have to be a 1 as well, because 6 only has one partner on the line. It's monogamous, but we'll get into that, I suspect, when we get to solving. Then each grey line consists of one or more non-overlapping groups of consecutive cells, each of which sums to 10. So these are 10 lines. Let's pick a 10 line to examine. Should we examine this one? So what we'd have to work out here is some portion of cells along the line have to add up to 10. So it could be those two, for example. Imagine they added up to 10. Then you could have those two adding up to 10 and those two adding up to 10. That would be a possible way that this line could be constituted. Now, it could be lots of other things as well. Those three could add up to 10, and then those three could add up to 10. That's possible. And our job is going to be to try and analyze each of these lines and work out how we can split them up to create consecutive sequences of digits that add up to 10 without overlapping. Do have a go. Let's get involved in the Funhouse. Let's see what Zetamath has got in store for us. The way to play is to click the link under the video. As usual, my chair has started squeaking, which is discombobulating. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I'm going to start. I don't know any secrets about 10 lines, I'm afraid, but I do know 3 secrets about German Whispers lines that I'm just going to regurgitate for you in case you've never seen one of these green lines before. First secret: you can't put 5 on a green line, because if you do, the next digit becomes impossible, because it has to be at least 5 different from 5. If you go upwards, you get to 10. That's not a valid Sudoku digit. If you go downwards, you get to 0, and that's not a valid Sudoku digit. And obviously negative numbers and numbers bigger than 10 are even worse. Jolly naughty. So no 5s on green lines. That means that what happens with a green line, let's imagine this was a low digit, so a number lower than 5. What's this digit got to be now? And because it has to be at least 5 different from one of these digits, it actually has to be always higher than 5, and then this digit will always be lower than 5, and this digit will always be higher than 5, etc. So you get this oscillation along green lines, which is normally important. And the other thing, which I mentioned a bit in the example in the introduction, is that 4 and 6 on green lines are the most restricted digits because they are monogamous. They only have one partner digit. And that's why you can't put 6 in the middle of the line, because its partner digit is always 1, and that would result in a breakage of Sudoku rules. Same would happen with 4, its partner digit is always 9, and that's not going to work. So those are my 3 secrets, in case they matter. Now, what can I see immediately? I'm wondering... Let me just check that. No. Okay, so this is the longest green line, I think. Although there's a whole package of green lines in the top left, but that's the longest green line. So I'm highlighting those squares because they have these 3 squares have the same polarities. They're either all high or all low. The same is true for these. Same is true for those. Okay, I can see one thing, which is related to the nose of the clown. The only other thing I'm seeing here immediately is 5 in this box. Has to be in this domino look, because it can't go on a green line. Now, if this was a 5 on the grey line, then we would know how the grey line was split up. So this is a 5-cell grey line. Now, if we think about the various ways you can make digits add up to 10, could you have a 4-cell sequence? The answer is yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 would work, wouldn't it? In fact, we have to be a bit careful as well, because there's nothing in the instructions that says you can't repeat digits on a grey line. So maybe, for example, those 2 digits could be the same Sudoku digit. If they were both 1, that could be an 8. So, yeah, okay, so 1, 2, 3... If all the digits are different, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the longest sequence you could create. But 1, 2, 3, 4 clearly doesn't work here, does it? Because the other... I mean, if you put 1, 2, 3, 4 into those squares as a unit, this square would have to equal 10 on its own, and that's not possible. So each of the segments along here is at least 2 cells long. So starting from this end, these 2 are part of the same 10 sum. Starting from this end, these 2 are part of the same 10 sum. And this one is ambiguous. So it's either going to join to the top or to the right. Yeah, you can't make those 5 digits add up to 10, because obviously these 4 would all be different already, and the minimum sum of these would be 10 on their own. So if this is 5, this couldn't be 5. These 2 squares would have to add up to 5, and these 2 squares would add up to 10. Yeah, sorry, I'm sort of going around the houses there. I don't think that's... I'll mention what I've seen about the nose. So remember, this chair's going nuts. Remember, we have to oscillate polarity along the green lines. So let's think about this 3-cell 10 line here. Can we split this up in any way, or does it have to be all 3 of those digits adding up to 10? Well, I think fairly clearly it has to be all 3 of those digits adding up to 10. If we try and split this up into a 2 section and a 1 section, the 1 section will be a 10 on its own. That's nonsense. So those 3 digits add up to 10. What would happen then if this was of low polarity? These 2 would then be high polarity. They'd both be at least 6. So some of those would be 6 and 7 as a minimum. That's 13. You can't put -3 into this square. And that tells us our first deduction, which is that this is 7, 8 or 9. I didn't put 6 in here because that would require double 1 in column 5. So this is at least 7. Oh, a tiny deduction. Right, it's not 7. Because if it is 7, what do you put into those 2 squares? They have to be different. They have to be at least 5 different from 7, so they have to be a 1-2 pair. And that doesn't work, because what digit would you then put in there? And the answer is 7. So you get 2 sets. So if you make that 7, it forces that to be 7, which is rather cute. Right, let's see if we can do that again. If that's 8, then these... Now, the problem with 8 is you can introduce a 3 into these squares. So these would be some congregation of 1s, 2s and 3s. Yeah, and there's no need to put an 8 here now. Right, no, it doesn't work, does it? Well, it doesn't work, but it is true to say that these two digits have to be low. So they're from 1, 2, 3 and 4. This digit is a maximum of 7 because these are a minimum of 3 if these are a 1, 2 pair. But this could be as low. What about if that was a 3, 4 pair then? This could be as low as... Yeah, this could be as low as 3. If that's 3 and that's 4 and that's 3, then that would be 9 and that would work. This would add up to 10. So this could be as low as 3 or as high as 7. That's almost... I think that's a pencil mark not worth making, actually. That feels... That's not going to be how you break into a zetamath puzzle. By pencil marking the puzzle to death. There's going to be some jiggery-pokery that the great man has hidden. Oh, 5 in this box is sort of empty rectangle-ish. No, that's not it either. Oh dear, hang on. I'm sorry. I'm not quite on the same wavelength yet. I don't think I can do anything with this. It's funny, the long lines here, I don't think we can do anything with them initially. That's famous last words when the whole break... Yeah, oh. I'm trying to think about this from a setter's perspective. How has zetamath started to create this puzzle? I don't know, actually, because it's so symmetrical. It's hard to tell. Maybe row 1. Can we do something in row 1? There's got to be 2 low and 2 high digits on the green line. Ah, okay, yes, row 1. Let's think about row 1 a little bit harder. How are we going to split up this line? That can't be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Because although that works for this line individually, it doesn't work for the green line now. Which within us, because this is oscillating, those two are the same polarity and those two are the same polarity. So there are 2 low digits, i.e. 2 of the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4 on this line. So this can't be a sequence of 4. So in other words, this line here has to split itself up in half. It's going to be a domino adding up to 10 and another domino adding up to 10. Right, so that square is a 5. Because where does 5 now go in the top row? And the answer is it can't go on the green line, and because these are dominoes, it can't be in either of these dominoes, or the other digit in the domino would also have to be a 5. And there are... Yeah. So I sort of... I'm wondering about 4 and 6 now in the top row. Do they have to be a pair over here, or could you somehow... If you put 4 in the corner, that would be 9. That would be low. Oh, you could put 6 there. So you could, yeah, you could have 4, 6, 1, 9 in the middle. Okay, so I can't use the third element of the German whisper secret to do anything in the top row. I don't think. I do know that the contents of this line are sort of 2 low digits and 2 high digits, where the high and the low digits can be paired off into 2 twos that add up to 10, if you see what I mean. Hang on. Okay. Right, so forget about this line. I was thinking about 4s and 6s on this line. Let's not do that. Let's think about 4s and 6s in the middle of these lines, of the green lines. I can't put 4 and 6 in the middle of a green line, because it would have to be surrounded on both sides of it by the same number. And exactly the same works on this sort of side, the left eye of the clown, or the right eye as the clown looks at us, if you see what I mean, but the left eye as we're looking at the clown. Because if you put 4 there, these two squares both have to be 9. If you put 4 there, these two squares have to be 9. So you can't put 4 or 6 in these squares. So 4 and 6 join the 5 over here. Right. So this digit is a monogamous digit. So the corner digit is not a 3, which would precipitate a song, but it is a 4 or 6. So that square's got to be 1 or 9 to be monogamous. And let me just mull this over now. But hang on. Yes. I want to say that's got to be a 4 or 6 now. That's right, isn't it? Because we thought about the top row. This is really clever. This is really clever. Because 2 of these dominoes, let's say this was 2, 8, and this was 3, 7. Which is possible, isn't it? Because each of those dominoes adds up to 10. Then obviously within this line there must be 2 digits that add up to 10 and another 2 digits that add up to 10. I suppose I'm saying that's obvious to me, but that derives from the fact that I know that rows add up to 45 in Sudoku. It's a secret that I only tell my favourite people. Once I knock the 5 out, I know I'm left with sort of four pairs of digits that add up to 10, 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7 and 4, 6. So once I know there's a 4, 6 over here, this right hand side can't have a 4, 6 pair, can it? So there must be a 4, 6 pair on this line. But 4 and 6 are of opposite polarity, so that cannot be a 4, 6 pair. So the 4 or the 6 has to go at the other end of the line, and that's got to be a 1 or a 9. That's peculiar. That is peculiar, but rather pretty to me. So, right, so these digits are now, so they are 2, 3, 7 and 8. Okay, so let's think about 7 in the context of this line, the eye of the clown there. Now, where can 7 go? So to think about where 7 goes, we need to understand what its friends can be on a line. Now 7 only partners up with 1 and 2. So how could you put a 7 here? It can't have a 1 and a 2 around it. It could only have 2 2s around it, and that's going to break the line. So that can't be 7, and that can't be 7. So 7 is now in these two squares. 7 is always surrounded by 1 on one of its sides. So there's a 1 in one of those two squares now. Now, yeah, this works exactly the same with 3. What's 3 next to on a German whisper? Well, only 8 and 9. So we can't put the 3 here because these squares cannot include a 9. So that's not got 3 on it. So this is a 2, 8 pair now. This is a 3, 7 pair. And this is a 1, 9 pair. This is weird. It's absolutely weird. Although, unfortunately, that's now... Has that run aground? We know these squares are 2, 3, 7 and 8. And we've got a digit on a grey line here. Yes. No, I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. How can this be a domino now? This can't be a domino adding to 10, because what would that digit be? If this is 5, it would have to be another 5. If this is 4 or 6, this would have to be a 4 or 6, but there's a 4, 5, 6 triple here. So this has to extend again, which means this is another. So this is a domino that adds to 10. This is a triomino that adds to 10. And that square can't be a 4, because if that square's a 4, this domino has to add up to 6 without using 4 or 5. So 4, 2 and 5, 1 would be off the cards. So that's not 4. If it's 5, these two squares add up to 5 without using 4. So these are a 2, 3 pair. If it's 6, there are 1 3 pair. Okay, so rather oddly, there is a 3 in this domino. And this domino, I want to say it's just, my brain just went through the options and it said it was a 1 9 pair, which is bizarre. That's going to fix this line if that's right. That's so... Is that right? Hang on. That can't be 4 or 6. So 4 6 is off the cards. This square can't be 2 or 8. And there's a... that's sick. That's really weird. Yeah, so this domino, which adds up to 10, can't be 3 7. That can't be 4 6. So 4 6 is off. 2 8 doesn't work. So it's 1 9, I think. And now that's not a 1. These haven't got 1 on them. So this is now a 5. This is not 5. There's a 4 6 pair at the top. And there's a 1 9 pair in column 2. 2. Hang on a sec. 1 7. This is 1 7 8 9 down here. So 7. Yeah, okay, so 7 and 8 have to appear in 2 of these 3 squares at the bottom of column 1. Now, if that's 8, that can't work, because if this is 8, that would need to be 2, and it's not allowed to be, so that's not 8. In fact, that's not 7 either, because if that's 7, oh no, it can be 7, because that can be 3. Bobbins! Ah! No, I'm wrong. Okay, I didn't spot that. I could see that 7 wouldn't work with a 1 2 pair here, because 1 and 2 are out of bounds for this domino. But 7 can work with... No, 7 can work with a 3 there, and then these would have to split up somehow, or be a 1 2 3 4 quadruple, if that's possible. Which it might be, I'm not sure. Alright, so have we actually learned anything about the world now? Oh, well, this is right. I've had one thought which is rather beautiful. I haven't quite worked out what this does, but look at look at this congregation of digits. 4 6 3 7 2 8 1 9. They are all the possible dominoes that add up to 10. So this little congregation, the right eye of the clown, can't begin with a domino, because there's no domino available, because these options have ruled out everything basically. So it begins with at least a triomino. Now, if it begins with a triomino, I don't know. I suspect it does begin with a triomino. I think a better question might be, can it... Ah, no, hang on. That's annoying. I was about to say, can it be a quadruple? But I forgot, or I didn't appreciate immediately, that those two squares could be the same number. So they could both... Oh, they can't both be 1, actually. Oh, no, hang on. It's quite difficult for them to be the same number. They can't be the same number. That's... Because if these were the same number, they would have to be a low enough number. So what I'm saying is it possible that these 4 squares add up to 10? Now, normally, you'd just say, well, there's one way, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I suddenly thought, what if they were double 1? Then these 2 squares could be 2 numbers that add up to 8, which gives a lot more flexibility. But these can't be double 1, because that would break this 1 9 pair. They can't be double 2, that would break the 2 8 pair. And they can't be double 3, because that would break the 3 7 pair, which means the minimum they can be is double 4. But then these 2 squares would have to add up to 2, and they can't, because they would be a minimum of a 1 2 pair. So the only way this is a 4-cell sequence is if it's 1 2 3 4. And I'm pretty certain that's not going to work. I just have to work out why. Why can't that be 1 2 3 4? I don't know. Ooh, sounds like there's either police or ambulance activity flying past outside. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't immediately see why that doesn't work. Oh, no, I know how to do this. Right. Right. Okay, I should take my own advice. Look at this line now. Well, we can polarity shade it. So those squares and those squares. Oh, hang on, that was probably a bad choice of colour. Let's go there. Hopefully that's a bit clearer. But you can see that these orange ones have the same polarity. So there's no way that they can be low, because we know that these three squares at least are part of the sequence that's got to add up to 10 on this line. So if there's no 1 or 2 in a 3-cell sequence, it's at least 3, 4, 5, which is 12. That's far too many. 12 is bigger than 10. There is a knowledge bomb for you from Cracking the Cryptic. So we actually do know the polarity. These have got to be high numbers, which means this is 8, this is 9, this is 7, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1. But now that can't be by the same reason that said that's at least, this now can't be a 3-cell sequence, because then it would be, well, it would be at least 3, 4, 6 actually. So that is a domino. This is amazing actually. This is going to do massive work, because we can get rid of that highlighting now, I think. But the point is that this can't be a 3-cell sequence, so this is a 2-cell sequence. But then we can't split the remainder of the line, because we know that these 3 are in the same unit. So actually those 4 are in the same unit. Let me just pick a good colour. I'll go with grey on grey, but I think that's fine. So these must be 1, 2, 3, 4, and in fact we know the position of the 3. And now we know this is a 4, 6 pair, which feels like it's going to break the world. How does that work with this? Ooh. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I thought that looked a bit broken-y to me, but maybe it's not. And that's just got to be 4, 6, because it can't be 3, 7, 1, 9, or 2, 8. There's a 4 looking at that digit. So this is going to do the top line. So that's 6, that's 4, that's 9, that's 1, that's 6. 5 in this row has to go there. So that digit's a 7. That's a 6, so that's a 4, that's a 6. This isn't a 4 now, or a 1, so that's a 2. This is a 1, 4 pair. 3 is knocked out of the green domino, so that can't be 3, 7. That's got to be 2, 8, which means this purple domino is 3, 7, and the 7 there tells us the order. We're going to get the whole of the top of the grid done, I think. Or roughly done, anyway. We've not put... What have we not put into that row? 9. There we go. That's on a line. So now we know the polarity of this L pentomino over here. Okay, I might be wrong. I can't see immediately how to unwind these 2 pairs at the top. But this is. I tell you what was beautiful about this. This little congregation of digits, taking each of the 2 possible, each possible way of making a domino add to 10 out of this line. That is sick setting, isn't it? That's absolutely beautiful. Now this line, now we can polarity shade. So these 2 digits have got to be high digits, but you can't put 6 in the middle of a line. You can't put 6 here, because that would be a 1 and that would clash there. So we've got, right, that can't be 9 either by Sudoku. Outrageous making me do Sudoku after a mere 34 minutes of zetamath Sudoku puzzle. These 2 digits have got to be low. They can't be 4s, because that would have 9 on both sides of them. That can't be a 1. No, that's not. Okay, that's not actually resolved the world, has it? Bobbins. Maybe it's Sudoku over here. Oh, look, no, I can do a little bit of Sudoku. I just noticed. That 9 is knocking 9 out of here. I've got a 7-8 pair in box 6 now. That's suddenly emerged. 7 has to be in this domino in box 4. 3 has to be at the bottom of the grid. So 7-3 is still very much a possibility down here. I think maybe the top of this grey line might be under pressure. Because the minimum... Yeah, what's the minimum value of those two digits? Well, the minimum is 4-5. Now, if these were 4-5, that would require this to be a 1, which it cannot be. So this must be, it must add up to at least 10, therefore. And the only way it can add up to 10 is by being 4 and 6. So that's 4 and 6. Which probably deserves its own. Well, I've still got orange available. And therefore these squares have got to be 5, 7 and 8. So 8 is now placed in the box. This is a 5-7 pair. Get rid of the corner marked 7. And it's just chairs. I'm sure this has done something. Okay, well, it's done to the bottom of 2, 5 and 2, 5, 9 at the bottom of here. So that can't be 9, because that would have to be a 1 on the 10 line. That can't be 9, can it? Yeah, this 10 line is a group of 3 cells that add up to 10. Can't be made up any other way. So we can't put 9 on here, because these two squares would have to add up to 1. So 9 gets placed into box 7. 9 is nearly... Actually, we do know a bit about 9, so let me just think about that for a moment. No, I don't think we do know enough about 9s. I might be wrong. I think 9 is on the whisper in box, or on a whisper in box 9, but I don't think I know where. Not sure. What about... Okay, I can now eliminate 7-3 from the bottom of this line in box 7, because if this was 7-3, these two squares would have to add up to 10, and they'd have to be 2 here and 8 here, and that doesn't work. So we can take 7 out of this square. That gives me a 7-8 pair okay, that gives me a 7-8 pair in this column, and I hadn't realised this, but I get a 1 at the bottom of the grid. I have noticed that there is still. I had noticed that 1, 2, 3, 4 could go on this line. It just didn't seem very likely to me. No, it does. It's that. That's the only way it can work now. Yeah, sorry. That's now I think about it, is the only way we can do it. Because I can't make this a domino, because I can't make this a domino. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we know the order. So that's 1. This is a 3-4 pair. Let's get rid of the corner mark. This must be a something, a 6. And I'm sure that's doing something. Okay, yes. Where does 6 go in box 8? Oh no, I'm wrong. Oh no. Oh no, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I just didn't... So I immediately thought 6 couldn't go here because it's in the middle of a whisper, forgetting, of course, that these two cells don't see one another, so they could both have been 1, except there's a 1 in the corner. That does prevent that from being a 6. So, in fact, I think 6 goes there. So it's very... Oh, this is it. Right, there we go. Now look at that digit. That digit sees all the high numbers. It sees 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's got to be low. That tells us the polarity of the whisper. So this is high and it's not 6. So it is 7, 8 or 9. It's not a 10 line though, so we don't have to make it 7 with a 1, 2 pair. That can't be a 1, obviously. Okay, so what does that mean? got lots of low digits here. So one of these is low, and so there is a 9 in one of those two squares in this column. So there's okay, so there's a 9 in one of these two squares, which is probably not that interesting. If that's 9, does that break anything? I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. So we've got a 5 here on a 10 line. So these two squares have to add up to 5. Which means this can't be 4 anymore, because that would need a 1 here, which would break there. So this is a 2-3 pair, which means that's not a 2 or a 3. I'm sure this does something more than that. I just can't see what it is. There's a 2-3-4 triple there, but that could be a 2-3-4 triple. Is there something going on? Oh yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's a 1-2-3-4 quadruple in row 8. So these squares are high. They are from 6, 7, 8 and 9. You can't put 6 in the middle of a whisper line. So that's a 6. That's come somewhat out of nowhere. Although I've worried that doesn't do anything. 6 is now in this domino. In box 6. That's and that's high. So that tells us the polarity of the long whisper here at last. So those squares are high. So they're 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's not 6 by Sudoku. That's not 6 by Sudoku. Neither of these are 7 by Sudoku either. Now we only have to get... Right, I've got an 8-9 pair here. So that's now a 7. That's an 8. That's not 8. That's not 8. There's a 7-9 pair. So one of these is 7, and if it's this one, it has to be surrounded by 1 and 2. Which might be fine, I'm not sure. Okay, let's try, I think we should try row 7 now, where all the high digits have been used. We need 1, 3, 4 and 5. So that square is 3, 4 or 5 now. But it's not 3 because 3 is in this domino. So that's 4 or 5. So 4, well it can't be 4, because if that's 4, that's a 1, and that would need to be a 5 to make this 10 line work, so that doesn't work. So that's got to be 5. These two do add up to 5, and this is a 1 or a 4. So this is a 1 or a 4, and now must be a 4. Therefore that's a 1, that's a 4, that's a 6. That's probably not the way round we wanted that. 4 is in this oh, that's not bad actually. Look, 4 now we can ask where that goes in this column potentially. And it's in one of the two cells at the bottom. But it could be in the corner because that can be a 9. Rotten naughty puzzle. These are from 2, 3 and 9 now. So in one case there's going to be a pair. So whichever one of these is not 9 is going to then going to be a pair of 2 and 3 in the other row. If that was there, that would make this square a 1. 2, 3, 4. In that box is forced to be here. That's just Sudoku. So this is a 7, 8, 9 triple, but that square is a 7 or an 8. And now this is 1, 5, 6. And we can get that digit by Sudoku. That's got to be 5, look, because it sees 1 and 6 in its row. This square's low, and it's not 1 or 4, so it's 2 or 3. That's a pair in the box now, so this is a 1, which would be consistent with that being a 2, 3 pair. 1 puts no pressure at all on the whisper. That could be 3. We're surrounded by 8, 9. That would work very nicely. And this square is a 7 or an 8. Oopsie, let's just make sure we put the right digit in. So we've got 2s, 3s, 7s and 8s in this column. And the other thing I haven't done, look, is I haven't labelled these 2 digits up. So let's do that. We know they're low digits. They're 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. So that can't be 4, can't be 2. Oh, there you go. That's a 1. Naked single. It sees all the other low digits. And it can't be 4 because that would need to be surrounded by double 9. So that being a 1 makes that a 1 and that a 4 and that a 4. Now, has that done any magic for us? 4 here means that can't be a 4. So this is a 4. I think it feels like we've done all the 4s. Now we have 4, 3. That 3 really underperformed, didn't do anything. Okay, these squares are not 1 anymore. 5. No, that's no. What's going on? Why can't I just write in all the digits? That's okay. That's not 4 anymore. So if that's 7, then this is going to have to be a 2. That's going to disambiguate the 2, 3 and the 8, 9 here. That would do a lot of work. Oh, I see. Look, where does 7 go in box 9? The answer is I don't quite know, but I do know it's in one of these squares. That's looking up here. So that becomes 8, that becomes 7. That must be next to 2 on its whisper, because 3 is only 4 away. So that becomes a 3. That becomes a 7. So that becomes an 8 by Sudoku now in this box, which means that becomes 9, that's 8, that's 9, that's 7, that's great. So that puts 2 on both of those whisper squares, makes this 3, makes this 9, doesn't affect this. Oh, no, that's great. What's this digit? Boom. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Very nice. Thank you for that, zetamath. That's a 5, 6 pair. Probably resolved by something. The 1 here is doing work. Look, 1, 6, 6, 5, 5, 7. This is a 2 now. This is 3, 9, which is resolved. I think the puzzle has now yielded fully. We've now got a 5 here. We've got an 8 here, and we've got a something there. 4. No, 7. That's what I think we've got there. That feels right. I haven't done all my shading of the 10 lines. Maybe I should do that. So those are all the same colour. We'll make those dark green again. These are all the same. Make those light green. Those are all the same. We'll make those red again. And that's everything. Let's see if it's right. Yay! Solve counter 234. That is the pull of the great man. zetamath with an absolutely magnificent. That's a magnificent puzzle. That you can do that with a symmetrical grid and include such beautiful logic. It's such talented setting. It really is. That's very enjoyable as well, because it was never monstrous. We just had to know and avail ourselves of a couple of secrets. So it felt smooth and had a very nice flow to it. It's just an absolutely brilliant variant Sudoku. Funhouse by zetamath. zetamath, take a bow again. I mean, I don't know how often you have to bow in response to Cracking the Cryptic videos. It's probably quite a lot. I feel that we should be genuflecting before you a bit as well. Let me know in the comments how you got on with that one. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.